Comrade Emmanuel Onwubiko, human rights activist and a convener of Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, in a press briefing today in Abuja, lamented on how government is handling the issues of insecurity in the country. He also spoke on how EFCC allegedly ignored those behind terrorism and kidnapping in the country, but asking bankers to declare their assets.
But importantly, the reason why we're also doing this conference is to tell Nigerians some of the reasons why there is heightened state of insecurity. A lot of Nigerians may not really, they have not really found time to really reflect deeply. Why do we have a lot of situations of kidnappings, invasion of schools, killings all over the place, particularly in the north of this country? Let's now tell you, the elections that brought in this government, the campaigns that brought in this government, the election itself was one of the hottest elections ever held anywhere in the world. That it was an election that one of the contestants was saying, if you read me out of, if I win this election and you don't call the result, the baboons and the dogs will be soaked in their blood. So that tells you how intense the election that brought these guys into office was. And that tells you the amount of energy they spent preparing for the election. Of course, this is Africa. It is very, very difficult for a party that has been out of power for many years, over 16 years or even close to 20 years, a party that has been out of power, that doesn't have the means as much as they can. If not that, they managed to find some governors of some very rich states that funded the campaign. Otherwise, in any part of Africa, it is difficult for an opposition party to win the incumbent. But it happened in Nigeria. That tells you the amount of effort they put in it and the number of boys, legworks that was done. So, why can't Nigeria actually ask questions? Ask these people that are in government now, how have you rehabilitated, how have you taken care of the boys who campaigned for you? A lot of boys, politicians, will never win elections without talks, armed talks. No matter how distant you are, even if you are a human rights activist or whatever you want to call yourself, if you don't do it, they're going to kill you in the field. Politicians use armed talks to win elections. They will not necessarily inflict those armed talks on the voters, but they use armed talks to protect themselves and to do so many other funny things. So if you use armed talks and you win election and you now lock a door behind them, you now leave them behind, what do you expect them to do? Most of these guys that have gone into these kidnappings and the rest of them were some of the people that these politicians must have used for elections, and the people that have won these offices were some of the most wretched of the earth ever. Before 2015, some of them cannot even afford to buy a clean car. Now suddenly you got into office and you started amassing massive wealth individually. I'm not saying you shouldn't tell somebody. It's all over the place. But somebody was on AIT and some other stations, one of those who know the people who are in government currently, was able to tell us who was selling recharge card at a time in Kaduna and who eventually became one of the presidential aides, and that the person has transformed his part of the state where he comes from. This is not exaggeration. We're not saying that maybe what he said is correct, but we're saying that the allegory he was trying to paint is a correct allegory. A lot of politicians who are currently in government did not have resources to buy a car that is very sound. In 2015, some of them right now are multi-billionaires, and you have people who helped you to get into government, and you just allow them to just be going about the whole place. They don't have job, they didn't even go to school to start with, so they cannot even have job in government. So there is the need for the government of this country, if they really want to solve the security situation of this country. You don't talk about amnesty. It's not amnesty that is the issue. First of all, you need to do a scientific verification of some of these intelligence that some of us have got. Because people call us all the time and they give us information. Government should, if we want to help this country, we need to have a judicial panel of inquiry on the roots of the heightened state of insecurity in the north. You will see that this political dimension will just crop up. you find out that somebody you help to get into office who does not have even a hut in the village, suddenly the person started building mansions all over the place in the north, and they're seeing all these things. A lot of these ministers have a lot of assets they have built within 2015 to 2019. So these are the kind of people that the EFCC should focus on. EFCC is not doing that; they're just chasing shadows. EFCC, the last time they said they're asking banks to bank workers to declare assets. What is wrong with EFCC? EFCC, please, can you focus on the cabinet members, the Federal Executive Council members, those who were appointed ministers in 2015? A lot of them were still retained. Who were they in 2014? How many houses did they have? How many houses have they built? These are not something that you need rocket science to do. These are very simple things that even the village person, the village woman, the woman in the village very close to them will tell you, in 2014, this man did not have up to 2 houses, but now look at the houses he has built. It's all over the place. So why is the EFCC not doing their job? But they want to chase shadow. They want to chase bank workers, somebody who has just barely left university and he manages to get how do you call this thing they do, this marketing job in bank. You now want him to declare his or her asset. Is that how to find illicit money? When you're operating within crooks who are who are on daily basis robbing Nigerians of our hard-earned money? Come on, EFCC should get serious. How many of the funders of the terrorism that we have in this country have been found by the EFCC? How many of the kidnappers, when they collect ransoms, I'm not just saying kidnappers in the north, the kidnappers all over the place, where do they keep their money? Do they keep their money in the shrines? No, they keep their money in the banks. Why is it so impossible for the EFCC and the CBN to find out how this insecurity is being funded? And they are rather just concentrating on chasing shadows. In fact, EFCC has even gone so low as even catching fraudsters who dupe people of 500,000 naira. In fact, the other time somebody was convicted of duping somebody of 150,000 naira. I said, what is this? You spend billions of, because we vote billions of naira to EFCC every year for you to go and catch small thieves, when there are bigger thieves that are right here in Abuja, who are ministers, who are presidential aides. These are the guys that are causing this insecurity, because if they have people who help them to win elections and they didn't take care of them, and it's not everybody that will be a God-fearing person, that they will tell you, maybe your mother, you're afraid that you don't want your mother to die if your mother knows that you're carrying AK-47. Not all of us have that kind of background of saying your mother is a Christian mother or your mother is a wife to an imam or whatever. No, there are a lot of people that don't care whatever will happen. I'm already down and out, so I don't care. So let us just destroy the country entirely. So these are things that the government really need to really find out, and the government should stop, government officials, enough of this insult, of everyday one insult from this government. Enough of it. How can the Minister of Minister of State Education tell us that the government cannot protect? We're going to send a prepared text to tell you the 3 responsibilities of government, but I'm going to read it out for the purposes of maybe the TV stations. Now here is it.
Michael Chidi reporting from GTV Africa, Abuja.